Good morning. Good morning. Pound is flying high. Look at that. We just had some big news on the Bank of England interest rate decision. They were raised it an entire half point. It was only expected to be a quarter point. And that thing just took off. Anyway, it's a great way to start the show, isn't it? That was a great cold intro right there. Good morning. Good morning. It is Thursday, June 22nd. It is 7 a.m. New York time. So good morning to everyone here in the States. Hope you had a good lunch or about to have a good lunch over there in the UK and Europe. And a good evening to everyone over there in Tokyo on that side of the world. Glad you guys are here watching. Welcome into the stream. 10K to $2 million funding challenge. We're here every day, Monday through Friday. And we're helping traders learn how to pass these challenges, get funded, and stack accounts, man. If you're not trying to get maximum funding with as many prop firms as possible, you are missing out on one of the biggest opportunities of your life. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I started this whole journey and channel, is to help others do the same thing that I'm doing right now. So welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Say hi in the chat if you haven't already. Good morning, Alex. Good morning, Beeswax. Good morning, Michael. Welcome in, guys. So good to see you here. Man, what a great day we had yesterday. We were very patient. We laid out exactly what I wanted to see happen on the stream. And then after we got off, things really started clicking. And we were able to find this beautiful, beautiful setup. Hey, Jack, had a setup on EG, but didn't get an entry, so canceled my order. Then got tapped in and then straight to take profit. I hate it when that happens. That's so frustrating. But listen, man, if you don't, so you canceled your order and then your order would have gotten tapped in. I'd be interested to know why did you cancel it? Did it clear out liquidity before it came back and tapped you in? Is that why you canceled it? That's one of the reasons I would cancel a trade, is if price runs and takes out liquidity in the direction I was anticipating without giving me an entry, I would cancel my order. Otherwise, I leave those orders set once I see my setup. But man, what a great, great trade this worked out to be. I identified the chat trade actually worked out well too. Yesterday, the chat identified a good trade setup there, and it worked out. I didn't want to take the chat trade. I wanted to wait for this break of this 15-minute candle here yesterday. I said very clearly, go back and watch. I wanted to see displacement above that 15-minute candle. And then once I saw displacement, which we got right here, and then the very next 15-minute candle, we had a continuation above that high that left behind that fair value gap. And I targeted 50% of the fair value gap, which was inside the body of the breaker. I put my stop down here below the candle that created the fair value gap. So it takes 3 candles to make a fair value gap. And I put my stop below the candle, the furthest candle that created that fair value gap. And it was protected. It had no more reason to go down here. It had already run liquidity, came back, failed to displace and make a new low. So once you get displacement higher, you can be fairly confident. Price has no further reason to come back down this low again. And so it worked out. It meandered around a little bit, got us into drawdown. We went into profit, came back to break even, and then it just marched. Slowly but surely marched all the way to our TP. It was just a great trade. So very happy about that. We're now 6% in profit on our phase one challenge, and we're 6% in profit on our funded account. We have 2 more days this week. We have today and tomorrow. So the way that I trade, I risk 2% per trade. So on this very next trade, I only need to make 2%. So I will still risk my full amount, but instead of I don't need a full 1 to 2, I only need a 1 to 1 on my next trade setup. So that's good. That's good news. We don't need the trade to do as much work as we typically would. And so maybe we can find a good setup here today or tomorrow. We can knock out phase one and pick up a new 100K account challenge going into next week. And then we can be using our funded account, trading a phase 2 10K and a phase 1 100K. I put out my first video on YouTube yesterday. If you haven't seen it, man, I would love if you guys would go watch that, leave a comment, engage with it. It will help boost the profile on that a little bit. Share it, in fact, if you want, whatever you want to do. But it explains exactly what we're doing step by step through this whole process, from starting with our first 10K account, which we started this about 36 days ago or something like that. I guess it's been about 40 days now. We started this whole process that I laid out in that video just over a month ago. And we're actually just a little bit ahead of schedule on that. In the video, I gave myself 14 days to pass phase one of the first challenge and 14 days to pass phase two of that same challenge. And I actually did that whole thing. I did phase one and phase two in like 16 days total. So we're a little bit ahead of schedule on that. But then on the funded side, we didn't get 5% to buy 100K. We just got our refund and we're able to purchase another 10K. So we're about on pace that I have laid out in that video. But if you haven't checked it out, please go check it out, watch it. I would appreciate that. Like it. Leave a comment if it's helpful. But it explains exactly step by step how we're going through this whole process. So if we can finish out phase one today or tomorrow, that would be great, because that means we will have made $800 on both accounts, and that will give us enough to for sure purchase a 100K challenge. I need to go look and see. What does Bespoke has a 200K? Oh, it's $950. So we won't be able to do that for sure. But we will be able to get the 100K. They're running a 12.5% discount, 12.5% discount currently through the end of June. So I don't even need $530. I need times 0.125. That's $66 off. So $539 minus 66. I only need $473 from this profit split to buy our 100K challenge. So that's great. We'll be able to, even just right now, we'll be able to get that. Even if we don't find a setup this morning or tomorrow, we will still be able to get a 100K challenge and get that fired up for next week. Either way, if we take a trade and we lose, then obviously that changes things. We do have a 50% win rate there. We're actually a little bit above our 50% win rate, and when you include the entire time that we've been doing this, we won 5, 7, 9. Yeah, so we're at like 55% win rate currently. That's what we're at. Let me get back over here to the chat. I asked Jack a question. He, canceled due to time of day. Oh yeah. Also started taking some of those. Time of day is important. That is another reason I would cancel an entry. And that's yesterday, in fact. Let me go back over to the pound dollar trade we had yesterday. I had said yesterday, if this trade, you can see how it's just like slow grinding, right? And I had said earlier in one of my tweets, somewhere around here, I was like, look, and so it's like 12:15. Uh, the market usually starts looking very much like this in the afternoon session. And I had said, no matter where we are, by typically probably 5 o'clock, so somewhere around here, if we had just started meandering around, I would have closed this wherever it was in profit or in loss before the rollover. The Wednesday rollover is the largest swap and rollover of the week. You want to avoid that at all, if at all possible. And so I definitely was going to be out by the end of the day, no matter where this was going to be. So time of day is definitely a very strong reason to consider canceling an order. So it's unfortunate. It happens, Jack. Don't get, I wouldn't get too frustrated about it. But the frustrating part is when you cancel it and then it would have wicked you in and then run to take profit. But no biggie. You got this. Michael says I was looking for an entry on GU, this London kill zone, but it was too strong. Never came back for me. So I was targeting, I got another entry last night on my other account on GU on this 30-minute order block right here. Let me take off yesterday's trade here. Let me get rid of all that. We don't need that anymore. So this is what I was on, a separate strategy that I use. I was targeting this order block right here, this 30-minute order block, and these fair value gaps. I got in. My order was, where was my order? My order was right, it was on the wick, I think, right there at the end of that. And yep. And I was targeting, where was I? Was I targeting this high? I think it was, yep. So that just hit just a minute ago. I wasn't even paying attention. That's the 30-minute play I had on London last night. It wicks down into the London Open, taps into this fair value gap inside that order block and ran out. So that's a different strategy. We may end up using this strategy a little bit later in a few weeks after, if we can get up over $1 million in funding, maybe I'll introduce a second strategy here, or high six figures. I don't know. I like just doing the one, only because, again, the whole point of the stream is to show you guys you can take one setup, one strategy, master it, you only need one, and you can make more money than you ever thought possible. You don't need 5 different setups. You don't need 5 different strategies. You just need one. Let me drop down here on GU and see. So yeah, as London opened, you get this push down into liquidity here. You get this drop. This would have been your breaker on the 15-minute. You get displacement above. Your fair value gap inside of there was right there, but it did not give you an entry. Let's see on the 5-minute. Yeah, also same, didn't give you a pullback on GU there. And that's fine. You're not going to get, I mean, you saw all week, last week when we had all that news, we had a couple of setups that we identified, but we didn't get our entries because price never retraced. Price just took off and ran away without us. It happens, and it's no big deal. There's nothing to get worried about. Man, we've taken 3 trades in the last 2 weeks, 3 trades, and we're up 6% on our account. There's nothing to worry about if you don't take a trade every single day. There's nothing to worry about. Stay calm, stay patient, stay focused. You're going to get your setup. You're going to get your entry. And over time, over the next 100 trades, you're going to be extremely profitable. So just be patient. My friend who is commenting in here, does Google have a translate feature? Because I don't see. I see you guys writing in here in a different language that I cannot read, and I'm not exactly sure what you're saying. So I don't know if there's a translate feature there or not. Um, Michael says, good morning. Hey, David Dreams. Good morning. Catching up here. Redhead. Hey, Redhead. Welcome in. Michael, I took the GU trade with you. Quite slow, but patience paid off. Well, congratulations. Glad you took that trade. And yes, patience does pay. Patience definitely pays. So it was a good setup. It met our criteria. And if it had lost, it was still a good setup and it still met our criteria. Alex, you could buy 200K with the 25% discount. The 25% discount is only for their $10,000 and $25,000 accounts, unfortunately. So they put limits. That's why they have 3 different discounts running right now. Bespoke does, and they let you choose. So you could get that 25% off on 10K, 25K, but you couldn't. You would have to use the 12.5% discount on the 100K. And that's if we just stop right here, then and we don't take any more trades this week. I would prefer to pass phase 1. My goal is to pass phase 1. My goal is not. I'm really not worried about this funded account. The funded account's going to take care of itself. If we pass these challenges and we're making 8%, I don't really care where this funded account is. These challenges are what matter. If we're passing challenges, we're getting paid, all right? Because the funded account, we're just copying off of that onto these challenges. We're getting paid. So I'm more focused on passing challenges. That's my main focus. I'm not worried about the funded account here. Jack, as soon as the kill zone is done, I cancel my orders if I'm not in a trade. Can be annoying sometimes like today, but overall it saves me more than it loses me. That is a great rule, Jack. That is a great rule for everyone in here. When it's outside of your time to trade, you don't trade. And if you get a setup outside of your time, cool, you're still not trading. Just enjoy the fact, oh, that happened, and that you could identify it and you could see it. Most of the time, you have your rules for a reason, so follow your rules. They're going to be what takes you into the promised land, I promise. Redhead, I think asked the question, where was it? So is the second 10K account. So we have currently a live funded $10,000 account. And we have a phase 1 challenge. This is our second account here that we are currently trading. And this is an ICT concept. I'm not exactly sure if he would agree that I am trading this exactly the way it should be traded according to how he teaches this. But it is his concept. It is the breaker block with a fair value gap nested inside of the breaker block. That's the setup that we're using here. And we're just waiting for liquidity to get run. For instance here, liquidity got run, and then we got displacement, and then price returned. There were no fair value gaps, but let's assume there was a fair value gap right here. If this was your breaker, price return down, wicks you in, and then takes off. That's the strategy. Hey, Ghost, welcome in. Michael says, yep, that's what I was looking at. Arabic. I assumed it was Arabic. It looks Arabic, and I wish I could read Arabic, but I cannot. I am a lonely Texan. I speak Texan is what I speak. So I'm not sure if there's a way that you guys can use or if there's some kind of Google Translate. I don't have time to copy and paste everything you guys are saying in there into Google Translate and figure that out. But you know, if I'm not going to be able to respond to your comments otherwise, so I apologize for that. Right click, then translate to English. Well, the problem is I'm not on, I don't have I guess I could pull up my YouTube stream on my laptop here. Maybe that would help. Let me see how that works because I'd love to know what you guys are are saying in there. Here we go. I'll just have to mute that. Right click, translate. He sees. Oh, okay. So I can like highlight all that. Okay, I'm not understanding. Well, the translate I don't think is working right because that doesn't make any sense. Oh my gosh. Uh, let me see. Let me try translating this one up here because the other one did not work. Yeah, that's not working. The soul of my beloved Tam, this is useful to you. I don't know if that's what you meant to say, but that's what the translator says. Let me go down here. This turned out to be a second account, meaning I settled the first account, passed the test, and won 6 papers, and this is the second now. I see all the smiling faces, so I guess you're making jokes, but I would love to be in on the joke. I just don't know. He says, "Come to understand you." Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. This is going to take too long, and I would love to be able to know what you guys are saying. If there's a way you can put that in English, that would make it way quicker because I don't have time to right click and keep up with the Arabic chat in there. So welcome in. I'm glad you guys are here. And hopefully this is helpful. Do not translate because you will not understand anything because we speak the Iraqi dialect. Well, then that makes a lot of sense why I didn't understand what you guys were saying there. But yeah, I'd love to know what the Iraqis think about football, the football conversation we were having yesterday. Not to piss Jack off further, but is it soccer or football in Iraq? Because it should just be soccer. We won't get into that again. Let's jump into our charts here. Let's jump over to the dollar and look at the analysis that we gave out earlier this week. When Monday started back over here, we had said and identified that our drawn liquidity would be this volume imbalance and this fair value gap. And we were anticipating a short bullish retrace Monday. We had said Tuesday high of the week would probably put in something inside this inverted fair value gap. And that's exactly what happened. We called this move on Monday before it happened. We said high of the week would be Tuesday or Wednesday up inside this inverted fair value gap. And then we would see our expansion on Wednesday, Thursday, down into these volume imbalances and this fair value gap. So far, that's played out exactly as anticipated, and we were able to capture a great trade based on the bearish dollar bias yesterday. And that's the trade that played out over here yesterday afternoon. So today, I'm still bearish dollar. Like it has now reached into that fair value gap, so it does not have to come all the way down. I would anticipate it wanting to come down a little bit lower, but you can see that after we traded through this volume imbalance, came back up, we've traded back through it. We've tapped into this now a couple times on the hourly time frame, and it has rejected up. So we're just going to watch and wait, but I am still bearish on the dollar overall. That does not mean that if we see displacement up and then we get a break here, we can run this down. But because of the large aggressive move that we had yesterday here, you could anticipate some of these imbalances being pulled back up into. So we'll just have to watch and wait and see what the dollar gives us. Pound has taken out buy side here and here and here and here. It didn't get all the way up to last week's high yet. That would be where I think it's probably going. So we'll wait and see. Hey, Mr. Brooks, welcome in. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Man, the Iraqis, you guys love the emojis, don't you? You guys are quite emoji friendly there. All the hearts, all the roses, all the crying, laughing faces. So it looks like you're having a good time. I really wish I knew what y'all were talking about in there. Maybe the joke's on us. I don't know. Anyway, guys, feel free to pop in the chat. I would love to interact with you in there. If there's something you want to look at, if there's charts you want me to check out, if you have questions, whatever it is, pop over in there and let me know what's going on. But I would love to be able to talk with you guys inside of there. Euro dollar, because we're bearish on the dollar, pound and euro, we're both expecting some higher prices. On the euro, you can see what happened to my, oh, here we go. So this is what we were looking at yesterday. We were trying to find a move to capture this trade right here, and we were hoping we would get a push under here. And we did get displacement. We didn't get any pullbacks there, and that move took off without us. Overnight, here in the London session, we took out these lows and we displaced above this breaker. There's no fair value gaps inside there for us to participate on. So London grabbed through the Asian lows, displaced higher, and has just been pushing up. So here as we enter into the New York hour, we do have some news at 10 o'clock. We have more Powell testimony at 10. So much like yesterday, you could see some chop until that. We'll just anticipate and wait and watch. But what we're looking for is some kind of run on sell side liquidity, and then some displacement away from that on both the pound. The pound has already run it. And now this is the big news candle here with the interest rate decision. UK decided to raise 0.5% instead of 0.25%, which caused quite a volatile reaction here. We'll let that settle down, and then we'll see here in the next half hour or so if anything plays out from that. Gold has tapped into its sell side liquidity, so you have a lot of equal highs and imbalances up here. I would anticipate gold wanting to rally up a little bit here. If it wants to dig deeper, that's fine. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see some displacement higher, and maybe you could get an entry back up into some of these areas here. And then US 30, yesterday, again, you can see all week long, we've just been trimming down. We're back towards the, if this is your consolidation and this is your manipulation, distribution would be down in here somewhere. So it's going to be interesting to see how the US 30 plays out. I saw something the other day that was talking about the markets, the stock markets and stuff. And it's basically like the big 5 tech companies are what is holding everything up. Massive growth, massive growth. And there's literally no other S&P 500 company or NAS 100 company that is doing anything. If those top 5 tech companies were not, they're basically sustaining the market right now. So, Jack, would you mind looking at my EG trade? Yeah, for sure, buddy. Let's go check it out. Let me pull it up here. See if I can find where's the 8 cap? Oh, there it is, right in front of my eyes, right in front of your face. All right. So Jack here, Jack is, were you, let's see. All right. So you're coming into London here. You get, let's jump down here to the 5 minute time frame, see if we can see something here. So you've got your Asian session on the 15 minute. All right, let me see what I can see. So you're running liquidity here. I don't see a sell side run on liquidity here on the 15 minute. I see the buy side getting run, and then it gets run again. Yeah, send it to me on Twitter. I'd be interested to see what you were looking at. Was it a breaker block or was it an order block? What was your strategy there? Because it's not jumping off the page to me right here, just looking at what you were trying to do. Unless you're just saying this was displacement above this high. Like, I'm just trying to. Yeah, I don't see the move here clearly yet. So send it to me on Twitter. Let me look at it there. We can pull it up and see how you have it marked out, and go from there. Uh, it is Redhead. You asked if this is SMC. This is an ICT concept, which is technically smart money. So this is a breaker block concept, and a breaker block concept is basically where you have a run on liquidity on one side. Let me see if I can find a setup here on EG that would be something like that. Well, I mean, we can use this. So you have a clear run on liquidity, and then you get displacement above that leaves behind a fair value gap. You would be targeting a re-entry as it comes down. The breaker block is right here. These are the last two up close candles that moved price up before we had an aggressive drop down. And then we had an aggressive, after you've grabbed liquidity, you have a quick aggressive move back to the other side that leaves behind a fair value gap with the breaker. Now, ideally, you would want this fair value gap to be nested inside that breaker area right there. And then you would, as price comes back down into that breaker and fair value gap, you would then enter there long and move up. So it is a smart money concept. It is a ICT concept for this specific strategy. I'm not here to teach that specific strategy. You can use whatever strategy you want. I'm not here to convince you otherwise. I'm here to model. Basically, what this stream is about is modeling how to pass challenges, how to have good risk management, how to be patient, how to manage your emotions, how to stack accounts. You don't have to use this strategy. This is the strategy that I use to become a six-figure funded trader, consistently receiving payouts, and now doing this stream, stacking accounts all the way to 2 million with bespoke funding. So send it over. Does this concept work on 5 seconds charts? I mean, why? And I don't mean that to be mean or ugly, but why in the hell would you want to trade a 5 second chart? That is just asking for failure. You just cannot react that fast. There's no way. Just to calculate your lot size and what you're going to do and where you're going to put your stop loss, you can't do that in 5 seconds. There's no way. I mean, technically, all time frames are fractal. All time frames are going to have accumulation. They're going to have a liquidity run. They're going to have displacement. The gaps that you're going to get on the 5 second chart, yeah, I would definitely not advise that. Why? There is absolutely no reason to be trading a 5 second chart unless you just have this degenerate need to gamble, there's no reason to be trading a 5-second chart. Yeah, I mean, the question is, it does work on every time frame. And he want a fast money. I mean, you may want fast money, but you're going to get fast losing is what you're going to get. There's no way you're going to be able to consistently stay profitable on a 5-second chart. It's not going to happen. Most of you are not going to be profitable anything under 5-minute charts. Let me go over here to my Twitter and see what Jack sent over. Bearish on the pair. Okay. Oh, well, I thought you were talking about the London Open and that Judas swing. Okay. I thought you were trying to capitalize on that quick move up. Let me pull this up. Yeah. Now I see it. Now I see it. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right, brother. Let me pull this up. Here's what Jack is asking about on EG here. So he had a run. This is the Asian session. I thought you were looking for it looks like you're in an uptrend, so I thought you would be bullish here. I thought you would be anticipating a run on the lows and then displacement higher to capture this move. But this is the Judas swing of the London Open. It runs Asian highs once, twice, then you get quick displacement. So you have an aggressive move up, aggressive move down. He's targeting this as the breaker. So these 4 down close candles are your breaker. 50% of that area was his entry. And after this big red candle closed is when he put in his entry order. And evidently somewhere around in here, his kill zone, his rules say don't trade out of the kill zone. And so as price had not triggered him in, he canceled his order. And then, of course, he gets wicked in after he cancels his order and runs. And this is his invalidation. Had price come down and taken out that sell side liquidity, he would have canceled his order before if he didn't get an entry. But that's a good trade. So you get your Judas swing, you get your run on liquidity, you get displacement away. There is a fair value gap right here, and there's another one up above. It did fill this one in completely, pulled back away, retested it and rejected. So good setup there, Jack. As always, man, you've got a great eye for seeing that kind of stuff. So well done. Well done. Lowest, let's see. I used to trade on 15, 20, and 30 seconds. Steven, oh my gosh. 20 stop loss and 1 TP. Well, that sounds about right. Y'all do not, like, I told myself that I'm only going to try to be as encouraging and as positive as I can on the stream. And when I don't trade on those low time frames. I did it for 3.5 years, never made any money. It looks like, oh, well, if I can do this on the 30-minute time frame or the 15-minute time frame, I'll just drop down to the 1 minute. It's the exact same thing. It's just moving faster. You can't handle it. I see ICT doing it. He shows 15-second charts, whatever. Cool, he's ICT. He's been trading since the 90s. He literally invented the system that everyone uses today. So good for him. You're not him. You're not trading. There's a reason you're not getting multiple payouts on 6-figure accounts if you're trading the 5-second chart. Yeah, 15-minute time frame is kind of my bellwether chart. It's where everything, all the blur kind of goes away. Things sharpen up and get into focus for me on the 15-minute. I will drop down to the 5-minute to see if there's a better, more clear fair value gap inside of a specific breaker. But I really like the 15-minute time frame entries. They are extremely profitable. Hey, Corey, welcome in. Thanks, man. First setup I've had in London all week, but oh well, on to the next. Yeah, I mean, you've seen how many setups we've had in New York. So don't feel bad. Last week London was amazing, giving you several opportunities, and this week, every week it's different. You don't know. We just show up every day, and we know exactly what we're waiting for, what we're watching for, and we try to capitalize when it shows up. So here we are. Let's go check out what's going on here. So euro dollar's dropping back down. Uh, we've had a bit of a run on liquidity here. So euro dollar for me, I want to see. I'm anticipating the draw on liquidity to be these relative equal highs up here. It doesn't have to be this week. You can see you had a big move up. It took out this order block, traded up through it, grabbed this liquidity, and now it's reacting back off of that. You do have this large imbalance here from yesterday. So you could see a pullback here. The weekly draw on liquidity is in, it's again, this is the weekly order block right here. It's pulled into. But you can see this large weekly volume imbalance. It left it behind up here. It never reached up into it. And since we've put in a higher low here, I would anticipate this high getting taken. And again, it does not have to be today or tomorrow. It could be next week. It could be the week after. But I think that's your weekly draw on liquidity there. You can see you've had a big impulse move up, a retracement, a big impulse move up. The question is today, do we get another extension of that? Potentially, yeah. Potentially. Just a reminder, today I have to get out of here in about an hour. I'm helping my friend move today. I'm in fact driving the moving truck for him up to his new place, a few hours north of Houston here. I should be back tonight so that we can stream tomorrow. There is a very small chance that I do not make it back tonight. And then that would mean the stream probably wouldn't happen tomorrow. But I will keep you posted on Twitter exactly what's going on, if that's going to happen. But I'll stay on here probably for at least an hour. Hour 10. We'll see what happens. And then I'm going to have to get out of here because we're hitting the road here in just a little bit. Around 8:30 here in Houston time, which is it would be 9:30. We're leaving around 8:30. So I'm going to have to get off and just, kiss the wife and hang out with her for a minute before we hit the road. So we'll stay on as long as we can and see what we find. I will be watching the charts. It will be hard while I'm driving, but I'll have my tablet up with my hotspot on. It'll just be running. I know I shouldn't do that, but I can't help it. Steven, I think it's going to go through those highs with speed, reaching the volume balance, consequent encroachment. Perhaps, Steven. Yeah, perhaps. Michael says, I don't know if you saw the comment earlier, but I did want EU to take sell side into last week's high before continuing up again. Maybe New York Kill Zone will do that. I missed that comment, Michael. I apologize. There was a lot of... it was the Iraqi takeover in the chat there for a little bit. So if I missed a comment or two while I was trying to figure out what they were saying, I apologize. But take sell side into last week's high. Yeah, that's exactly what it did. Took sell side, took out last week's high there. And I do think it's going to reach up there. I don't know that it's going to, again, I don't know that it's going to be today. You can see price pulling back now here. It's taken out some sell side liquidity here. So yeah, I mean, we could potentially be getting some setups here. Pound doing the same thing. You've taken out some sell side liquidity here. You took out the London low, in fact, just on that big news scandal there. So I'm still bullish. I still think pound is going to take out last week's high. So we'll see if we get some kind of displacement or setup that allows us to participate in that. I'm glad you're still here, Redhead. You are welcome here anytime. Uh, I feel bad because I couldn't talk to you guys. I couldn't see what you were saying. So uh, if it's possible to put it in English for the benefit of the entire chat, that would be most helpful. But you don't have to. I mean, if you guys want to have your own private stuff, that's cool. We're big boys. We can filter through it. Mr. Brooks says, question, how long did it take you to become consistently profitable and funded? Over 3.5 years. So started back in 2000, late 2018, 2019, and sucked. I was just horrible. I sucked. Didn't know what I was doing. Jumped around from mentor to strategy to mentor to community to all kinds of stuff. Failed miserably. And then about a year ago, well, a little more than a year ago now, so early 2022. Well, ICT's 2022 mentorship really brought I had already kind of gotten into smart money concepts before that, but it wasn't clicking for me. It wasn't. There was just some pieces that were missing, and really ICT's stuff in 2022 are what kind of brought it all together, and quickly became profitable once it happened. It's true what they say. Like once you go from failing, you can fail for so long, and then it clicks, and you can have a very fast turnaround into profitability. It's a mindset, really. It really is more to do with mindset than it has to do with your strategy. The strategy is super important. Having the data on your strategy is super important. Your system is what you use to make money, and so it shouldn't be neglected. But what I'm saying is it was really my mindset that changed, and having confidence in what I was doing, getting off those damn lower time frames, and then just basically becoming a self-disciplined trader, only taking A+ setups and not doing anything else. And things changed pretty rapidly after that. Pull back into the high we broke yesterday. Okay. Yes. I see what you're saying, Michael. Now I understand what you're saying. So a pull back into yesterday's high. Yep. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that pullback. Mm-hmm. I'm with you now. I understand. Hey, good morning, Sam. Welcome back, buddy. Yeah, I'm sure I was it was quite humorous. Me trying to translate Iraqi. And it's like any language. It's never going to be a direct translation. If you try to literal direct translation, it's never going to be what it is you're actually saying. So, my friend does not understand English. Oh, you're translating for him. Oh, that's crazy. We have some. There was another guy in here. I think is it Ghost? Ghost, are you in here? Uh, I think maybe Ghost. Maybe it's somebody else. Is French, and I'm not sure if they speak English or not. But I think there's a couple other people in here that English is not their, either they don't understand it or it's definitely not their first language, and so I can't really do much about that. Again, I speak Texan, and I speak a tiny amount of Spanish only because I took some Spanish classes in high school, um, and in Texas. I mean, we have a very heavily influenced Hispanic culture here, and so you're around it and hear it a lot here in Texas, Spanish a lot anyway, and so you pick up a little bit here and there. Not enough. I don't know enough to carry on a conversation with anybody, but I know. I mean, I know some phrases and some words and stuff, but I definitely don't know Arabic, unfortunately. So I feel like ICT is mostly for learning the analysis. So I'm curious if you had someone else as a mentor to teach you the psychological stuff like you're doing now. Nope. Not anybody specific. Um, and really, a lot of the psychological stuff, quite honestly, was outside of trading. Um, just self reflection, journaling, personal growth, conversations with my wife, uh, conversations with my sons. I have two adult sons, and just talking with them, realizing and then looking at other profitable traders and realizing these guys don't struggle with this. Well, but they say that they do, but why is it not affecting them? And it's because they just make personal decisions and commitments to themselves and to this business about doing what's right, doing this the right way. So there was no one specific that taught me psychology. It really was a personal decision and personal reflection and personal growth that was basically like, look, just do this for 6 months. Make a freaking commitment to yourself that you're going to do this for 6 months and you're going to do it the right way and see if it works. And it didn't take 6 months. It took about 2.5. And then I was like, okay, I'm all in on this. I'm not going to freaking break my rules. I'm not going to do it. I would rather die a very painful death than break my rules to my trading system right now. Because things turned around very quickly once I decided to be a professional trader. I mean, really, I don't mean to make it sound flippant or oversimplify it, because I understand it is not simple, and I understand it is so hard and difficult to get through the mindset change in your head. But that's literally what happened. Is I decided I'm going to be a professional trader. So what do professional traders do? How do they act? How do they make decisions? How do they think? How do they analyze? How do they manage their trades? What is it that they do? Well, the first thing is they don't trade very much at all. They take very few trades. They're only interested in taking the best prime high probability setups that lay out according to their system, and they don't care about any one trade winning or losing. They have data that shows them exactly what their edge is in the market and what they can realistically rely on to make risk management decisions. Okay, so let me do all those things. So I did all those things, and I made the commitment to keep doing those things, and that's when it changed. So there were several traders that really mentors that they're not bad mentors. They still have huge followings today. One's a guy named Rox FX, ROCKZFX. I think he's a British guy. He was one of the first guys I locked into. Cool guy. Does not trade SMC. He has a very subjective way of looking at the market and how his entries and stuff. I'm not trashing him. Cool. Like, he makes a lot of money, and I think his traders make a lot of money. That's where I started was with Rox. Got into his community, and just could not. I mean, it was just so frustrating. Um, then I was involved with a guy, Mint FX. He teaches a lot of Wyckoff stuff and smart money concepts. And again, I'm not bashing any of these guys. Okay, They all have their system, and they all have their method, and they all trade and appear to be profitable traders. It just did not work for me. I went from there. Where else did I go? I was on YouTube. I was watching live streams. I was watching multiple live streams a day, trying to figure out who's going to give me a setup that I could take that day. That I could do signals. I paid for signals. I was like, well, I'll just pay these guys. I'll just use their signals, and then I don't have to worry about it. I've done it all, man. I've done it all. I've been all over the place. I use support and resistance. I looked at Nick Sean stuff for a while with his hedging strategy with support and resistance that he puts out on YouTube. Those quick little videos. You just buy here. If it goes against you, you just hedge and you go the opposite direction. And then when it comes back, you get out. And I blew so many challenges trying to do that thing. And ultimately, it was never any of those systems or strategies. It was all about me not putting in the work that I needed to do to become disciplined and change myself. And once I changed myself, the strategy takes care of itself. You can do any strategy. If you've got the data to show that you have the edge with your strategy, then it just comes down to you executing that and waiting and being patient and doing all the things that professional traders do. So, Redhead, come to Iraq and you can stay in my home or my friend home. Dude, that would be great. I would be all for that. I appreciate that invitation. What's the food like over there? I'm a big foodie guy. I mean, I have some good friends that are here from India. They've lived here for a couple of years now, and I'll go over to their house and eat, and they'll feed me their kind of cultural Indian cuisine, and I can't do it, man. It's not my favorite. So if it's anything like Indian food, if Iraqi food is very similar to Indian food, I don't know that I would be able to make it in Iraq. I'm a Texan, man. I need barbecue. I need some tacos. I need some red meat and French fries. Y'all have French fries over there? I'm a glutton for French fries. Euro's pulling back here. Pound is not quite pulling back. Dollar's making a run up. Be interesting to see if dollar runs this high. Do we get some displacement back down? I'll be watching that. Gold has. Let me pull up gold here. Didn't quite took some sell side. Haven't had any displacement. Coming into the 8 o'clock hour for New York. We got just a few more minutes, and then we'll get this hour rollover, and we'll see what kind of push we get here. Michael says, I've made a few mistakes the last couple of weeks based on greed. I'd say I've written down rules to avoid that happening again. Just got to be disciplined and patient now. Dude, I have done that so many times, Michael. I really have. I've written down my rules and I've said, you're going to keep these rules. And then the very next day, I will break the rules. There at some point, you just decide, this is law. This isn't just a rule. This is my own personal governing law, and it shall not be broken. And until, that's the mindset that I had to bring into what I'm doing. That's the mindset I had to bring. This is a law for my life. I will not break this law. And if you I don't know what it's going to take for you to get to a point where you mentally can commit and hold yourself to following through on keeping those rules, following those laws. Once you do, I promise you, it's going to change so much. And you'll realize it's easier to do it than you think. It's easier to keep those rules than you think. When you see the profitability that comes from consistently executing your strategy and your plan and letting your risk management be the edge in the market that gives you to make profits, when you see that play out, it's so much easier to stay committed because you realize, look at this. Well, heck yeah, let me just keep doing this. There's no reason to go back to my old ways. Like that gave me nothing but pain and heartbreak and sorrow and frustration and depression and anger. Why would I want that again when I just did this and now I'm profitable? So, hey, we're up to 16 viewers. Guys, if you like what you're getting here on the live stream every day, I'd appreciate it. The only thing I ask every day is you just click that like button. It does help with engagement and the algorithm and pushing this out to other people to see. So if you haven't hit that like button yet, don't forget to do that before you leave the stream today. But welcome in. I'm glad you guys are here. Nan, good morning. Sai asks, what are we waiting for? We're waiting. Well, I'm waiting for my setup. If you're not trading my setup, you may already be in a trade, but my setup is not formed yet. So I'm just waiting for a setup to form, and then we'll see if we take it. But good morning, Sai, or wherever you're from. Hope you're having a great day, and welcome into the chat. I don't know that I've seen you here before, but glad you're here with us. I'm trying to decide what I'm most interested in here. Euro is making a run on these lows. Pound has already taken out the Asian low. I'm not sure it needs, I mean, the London low. I'm not sure it needs to come all the way back down there. I would just need to see some displacement one way or the other on pound here, I think, to really get a good feel. But Euro is making a run here lower into this buy side liquidity. So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen here on the euro dollar. Does it keep pushing lower and then we get displacement, or was this the run on liquidity? If this is the run on liquidity and we're going to get displacement lower today, this move all started down here, and so you would need to see displacement below all of these candles, which is our London low here. I'm more inclined to think that we're going to go higher, and so I'm more inclined currently to think that this is a run on liquidity, and then maybe it goes a little bit deeper, takes this, and we get displacement up higher. I don't know. I'm not super confident yet on which direction I'm leaning here. So with that in mind, I will be very neutral as we head into the rest of this day. And I also know I have to leave in an hour. Not that puts pressure on me to find a setup, but it's just I also know I'm not going to push anything. We're 6% in profit. We have 2% to go. We have a no time limit challenge. I would love to hit 8% today or tomorrow. I just need a 1-to-1 trade setup today to finish out our phase 1 challenge here. So if I can find a 1-to-1 setup, I'll take it. But if not, we'll wait and see what tomorrow brings us as well. So, Steven, I was in MintFX course. From him, I learned to trade on the seconds. Yeah, that's where he screwed me up too, is he kept dropping down. He'd have like a 1 pip stop on a 5-second chart. I'm just a freaking moron, man. Oh, look, I just made 1-to-100. But he never made 1-to-100. And he would even say this is not a 1-to-100 trade, because as soon as price would start moving, he'd start taking profit. And then in the end, it was like a 1-to-4 instead of a 1-to-100. So Nick Schoen is a scam artist, I guess. I mean, I don't know if he's a scam artist. He definitely knows how to market, and he knows how to build a following, and he flips accounts. That's his shtick, is he takes a $2,000 account and flips it to $4,000. And he's got 10 $2,000 accounts. And if he flips one from 2,000 to 10,000, or if he flips 2 of those 10 accounts from 2,000 to 10,000, he's break even. And if he busts the other ones that he doesn't talk about, he doesn't. So, I mean, he's got his thing, and that's what he does. Again, I'm not here to bash mentors. I'm not here to call people scammers. I'm not really concerned about what other people are doing, really. I'm really just here to show you all how I became a profitable trader, the methods and manners in which profitable professional traders act and make decisions. And hopefully by the end of this, in the next 6 months, have another $2 million in funding that I can add to my already other funded accounts. The real strategy is your mindset, Jack says, could give 2 people the same strategy and get 2 completely different outcomes. Yep. I mean, I can teach you guys exactly what I'm doing right here. I can show you, and I have shown you for the last month and a half or last 40 days, I've shown you there are, I don't know, 10 or 11 winning trade examples in the last month that I've taken that are this exact setup and strategy. So you know my strategy very well by now if you've been here or if you've gone back and watched those. You know my strategy, and that does not mean you can be profitable with it, because it really is about mindset. It's about execution. It's about being patient. It's about your system and risk management. There's so much that goes into it. So yes, it is really all about the management. Jack says Iraqi food is top tier. Get lots of it over here. Seriously, really? Okay, now I'm intrigued. In Iraq, there are different types of food, especially meat, which will get fat. I don't want to get fat, but I'm definitely a meat eater. I am a carnivore, so give me all the meat. And man, Jack giving a thumbs up to the Iraqi food. That makes me very interested to find some Iraq. I don't have any Iraqi friends here in the States. Let's see, who do I know from the Middle East? Do I know anybody? Do I have any personal relationship with someone from the Middle East? I don't think I do. India, I think, is the closest. Yeah, I think India is the closest Middle Eastern connection I have, and that's not close to them. I mean, I guess geographically it's closer than the United States, but it's not Middle East. Ahmad, EU looking nice for a sell. So Ahmad is bearish. He's saying that this was a run on liquidity, and then we're getting displacement down. And Ahmad, you may be right. Ahmad, weren't you the one yesterday that spotted the GU setup on the 5-minute time frame in the chat that worked out? I think that was you, Ahmad, wasn't it? I'm not sure if that was you or not. That's a quick recall off the top of my head. There were a couple of you that were in on this GU 5-minute breaker down here. That if you had moved to break even, you would have gotten stopped out at break even. But if you hadn't, it did end up hitting a 1 to 2 there. So we'll watch. I'm watching Euro. I'm kind of just chilling and hanging out here, trying to figure out what I want to see happen. I'm more inclined to think maybe the dollar takes out the London high and then falls away and becomes bearish again and attacks more of this fair value gap. There is also a case to be made that it just retraces after the big down close candle yesterday. It wants to maybe pull back up into this area here, now that we have tapped into that daily fair value gap below us. So again, all of that means I'm just waiting. That's all it means. I'm not doing anything. It could be that there's a sell here. Sai, hey buddy, I'm also in challenge, but didn't it reached with order block on Euro? So I'm not exactly following what you're asking there. Didn't it reach with an order block on the Euro? It depends on what time frame you're looking at and what area you're talking about there, but it could be. You'll need to give me some more information there. Michael says I want it to take out low of the day and then market structure shift higher for a pump higher today, and then we could get TGI tomorrow. I'm similar vibe, Michael. That's kind of where I'm leaning, is see if we can take out the low and then pop back up, get some displacement higher. Currently, it's just dropping pretty aggressively here. Dollar is finding a lot of strength currently. I would be interested to see what happens with gold. If gold takes out this sell side liquidity, do we get displacement up? If we do, that could be an interesting trade as well. We're into the 8 o'clock hour, and guys, I've got about another 45 minutes here with you, and then I'm going to have to get on with some real life stuff today. So, we're getting movements here. We're just waiting on a setup to form. And that's what professional trading looks like. Venator, for those of you just coming in, all 19 of you that are watching, welcome in. Venator is Latin for hunter. And I don't know Latin, but I thought it was cool. I really wanted to, that's kind of how one of the mindsets that really changed for me was when I started approaching the markets with the idea of being a hunter. And what hunters do when they go out to find their trophy buck, they sit in a tree stand, they're quiet. But before they even get in their tree stand, they've gone and they've looked and they've stalked and they've figured out where that trophy buck likes to rut and eat and sleep and drink. And then that hunter then puts itself in a position and waits for that trophy buck to appear and then takes it down. And so when I started this channel just a month ago, I was like, I want it to be so I just did some research. Venator is what I came and found, and it works, and I think it's cool. And I like my logo. I think it's kind of nice. I like the arrowhead here, or spear shaft. I'm not sure which one that would be, but I don't know. It's a cool vibe. If I get 2 million in funding, maybe I'll just tattoo that somewhere. All right, so here you can see euro dollar has grabbed this sell side liquidity, and it's getting a nice little rejection here at the top of the hour. Be interesting to see now what kind of displacement we get away from that. The interesting thing is that the breaker, if this is a liquidity run, your breaker's up here, and I would use this high candle here as your breaker. So it's still got a lot of room to run. You could potentially use a 5-minute market structure shift. We'll see. This would be the one that you would be identifying. The last up candle before the sell side liquidity was run, but then these up here would be make a stronger case. It still could come down and take out London's low here as well. So we'll see. Pound is just kind of stuck inside its range after the news hit there. There's no barbecue better than KC barbecue. Okay, John, this is 2 days in a row. You're coming in here with some hot takes that are gonna cause a problem. I've had KC barbecue, and it's good. It's good. You guys are doing okay up there in KC with your barbecue. It's okay. But to say that there's no barbecue better than Kansas City barbecue, my friend, I've got some places here in Houston that will make you want to slap your mama after you eat them. They are so delicious. So while I do respect the effort that Kansas City puts in with its culinary contribution to the barbecue genre, I don't know that I would say it's the best barbecue ever. Do I love fish? Oh, that's tricky for me. That's tricky for me. I'm not a super strong seafood kind of guy. If it's fried, I like it better than if it's just like grilled. I do love grilled salmon. I put some salmon on the grill. I love grilled salmon. There's a restaurant here in the States. I don't know if it's everywhere in the States, but it's called Saltgrass Steakhouse. And it's just kind of a very mid-tier steakhouse. It is not like a awesome steakhouse. It's just kind of a, mid-level family dining experience, right? But it's called the Oscar Salmon, and it's this grilled salmon, and they have this sauce with like crab meat and stuff on top of it, on top of this bed of asparagus that's Parmesan encrusted asparagus. It's fantastic. Probably one of my favorite seafood meals, and I don't even know if it's a true seafood meal just because it has salmon on it. I guess it is, but it's really good. I'm not like, but I don't like catfish, even fried catfish. I don't like catfish, but I do like tilapia. I've had some good tilapia. I've had some good. What else have I had? Trying to think of the other fishes that I eat. Mahi, pretty good. And again, I'm probably naming off the most basic generic hot dog variety fish. So I don't have much experience with fish, but I'll try anything once. Toxie says agreed about the market maker sell model. Let's see if we get a move into that 15-minute fair value gap on news at 8:30 to give a possible short. So I think these guys are talking about this fair value gap up here. You could be targeting an entry there. If this was a run on liquidity, you would target these down close candles or these down close candles as a breaker that ran liquidity, and then you get displacement away and you have your fair value gap nested inside that breaker right there. So this down close candle initiated this run on liquidity, and then you've got a fair value gap if you're bearish. And I'm not very bearish, so I don't know that I want to take a sell right now. But you know, you guys are gonna have to make that decision. The Sharp. Hey, welcome in. Found you on Twitter and just started watching your live streams. Keep it up, man. Really like your principles. Hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you're here. I hope it's helpful for you. I hope you find some value here. And hope you can stick around and get to 2 million in funding with us. That's what we're trying to do. So welcome in. Thanks for following on Twitter, and thanks for watching the live stream. And stay in the chat, man. Redhead, you can come in Iraq or Jordan. I'm in Jordan, and my friends in Iraq. Oh, cool. Braden, hey, ever since I saw your comment on Paladin's tweet about 2R targets, my trading has improved a lot. Cool. 1 to 2, man. That was a big piece of the puzzle for me. The low-hanging fruit. Just reach up and grab that apple right off that low-hanging fruit. That's what I go for. I have no interest or desire. I can make all the money I need on 1 to 2 risk-reward ratio. I don't need to capture the massive move of the day or the massive move of the week. I don't need to get 1 to 10. It was stressing me the hell out when I kept trying to hold. It would mess with my mindset and my risk management. And now it's just I enter, I go for 1 to 2, and I leave. And with my risk management profile, I can win 2 trades in 2 weeks, and I can be at 6% in profit. So 1 to 2 risk reward. I'm glad that helped you. I am a huge fan of 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. With a 50% win rate, you can create massive wealth with a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. So glad that was helpful, Braden, and welcome in. 22 watching. Really? I see 18. I must have missed. I don't keep up. I don't have time to sit here and watch the viewer count, but 22, that may be a new high for us. Maybe a new high. The first 2 weeks I streamed, there were 0 people watching. And then Corey showed up. Corey's the OG. Corey's still in here. I don't know if he's in here now, but he comes in every day at least a little bit. Corey was my first viewer. I think about, I don't know, somewhere in week 2 after I got funded, Corey started watching. But all of you guys are now the OGs, because a month from now, when we're trading a 100K live funded account and there's 50 people watching instead of 20, or 100 people watching instead of 20, you guys will be the OGs. So start getting in at the ground level. My Arrow of Hunter. Yep, that's my arrow. I love it. John Jones, doing okay? I've had the best barbecue in Texas, and I was like, I got some notes. Well, you didn't have the best. You may have had some barbecue in Texas, but you haven't had the best. What's the barbecue sauce base? What do they go off of up there in KC? They use a mustard base on their barbecue sauce. Is it sweet? I'm not a big sweet barbecue sauce guy. That's kind of the big thing over on the east coast of the states. They use it's a sweeter mustardy based barbecue sauce, and I'm not a fan. And it's pulled pork. It's not real barbecue. Brisket is barbecue. All right. So now you can have pulled pork barbecue, and you can have chicken barbecue, and you can have turkey barbecue, but actual real barbecue is brisket. And that's a hill I will die on. Search for Iraqi food. Life is about eating. Man, I am a foodie. If we ever get to meet up, we're going to eat good. I can promise you that. High of the day, Toxie says, short the stream. Maybe we have our high of the day right here. Toxie, you took the chat trade yesterday, didn't you? The one that the chat identified on the pound dollar. You were in on that, I think, if I remember right. Did you get out at break even, or did you ride that thing to TP? Hey, Nicodemus, welcome in. I have been trading for, let's see, what's today? This now June of 2023. I started in late 2018, really 2019. So 4.5 years ish. Only profitable though in the last year and a half. So the first 3 years was just brutal, miserable failure. 3 years of failure. And then became kind of a break-even trader, and then quickly became profitable after I changed my mindset, really. So you got 50% at 2 to 1. The rest was a break-even. Well, good for you, man. You got a 1R off of it. I would have been break-even. I had called that out when price had gotten close to that high. I said you should move to break even. It came back, wicked you in, actually dropped into drawdown, and then ended up flipping around. But I waited for that 15-minute breaker right here on the pound dollar. I've taken it off since, but you can go back on my Twitter and see exactly where that trade took place. Pound is just doing a whole heck of a lot of nothing right now. Dollar has kind of fallen off. This volume imbalance could act as, so this is a daily volume imbalance. This small line right here, this small little yellow block we're in, is this daily volume imbalance here. It acted as support, acted as support, acted as support. We traded through it. This fair value gap has been respected, and we've come back now into this volume imbalance from the downside. And, you know, be interesting to see how this day closes around these two areas here. But currently, the dollar is just stuck in this little dealing range right here. I'd be interested to see if the dollar can grab some liquidity. What happens here if the dollar reaches up into this fair value gap again, or even up into this one? Do we get more bearish reaction off of that? That's kind of what I would anticipate here. We got about another 6 minutes before the New York market officially opens for the indices, and then we'll see if we get any further pushes here. You can see Euro had an aggressive run down and has since kind of stalled out after grabbing this liquidity down here. It's left the London low in place. Yeah, so I mean, if we get some displacement, an aggressive displacement above here, you know, you could potentially look at that 5-minute candle as a breaker, but you got to be cautious, as this could be with the London low being sell side liquidity as a target. That could be the draw that price is trying to reach for right here, which several in the chat have indicated that's what they believe is going to happen. David, 0 people. You're an icon. I mean, when you start a YouTube channel and you go live with absolutely 0 followers anywhere, 0. But you can go back. Those are the when no one was watching. Those are I have a playlist up for the 10K funded account phase 1 and phase 2 challenge. Look, I got my Texas cup. That's how much I love this state. Texans, man, we're pretty ferocious about state pride. Probably annoyingly so to the rest of America. But go watch that playlist. You can see 13 days to pass phase 1 and phase 2 to combined 13 trading days, which is like 2.5 calendar weeks. Uh, there's 5 trading days, so yeah, basically 2.5 weeks to pass that. But basically, no one was watching. Corey may have started watching late in that process, but I mean, really, there was no one watching. People or someone would pop in and then they would immediately leave. They would see that they were the only person sitting there, and that was the awkward part of, oh crap, I'm the only person watching this guy, this poor idiot on here YouTube streaming to himself. But then Corey popped in and he was brave enough to stick around for a little while. Redhead says, I learned trading for 3 months, then I stopped because of exams. I'm in grade 11 high school. Yeah, what is that? Does that mean you're what, 17 ish? I don't know how the grades work over there in Iraq. Is that like college here in the States? Are you are you 18 or under 18, Redhead? Nicodemus, keep grinding this content will attract people. Uh, I think it will be attracted to some people as well. I really do. This again, the reason I started this whole thing was because I wish I would have had something like this 3 years ago when I was frustrated out of my mind and I was done paying people and paying private mentors and buying signals. I just wish I had someone, a professional trader who was actually trading every day, sitting at the markets watching and actually streaming and showing you exactly how to do what they were doing. And most of the traders now don't do that. Even mentors now don't, they're not live every single day talking you through what's happening, the mental side of it, the psychological side of it, the emotional side of it, talking out the analysis live, talking about risk management, answering questions. Like they have discords and they're leaving chats and they might put screenshots or, but actually sitting here doing what every one of you are trying to do is find a setup today. I didn't have that. And so that's why I wanted to do this is I know there are a ton of traders. What's the stat? 90% of traders don't reach a payout. So if I can help that, I tweeted this the other day. If I can take that from 90% down to 89%, I can help 1% of the traders out there. That's a crap ton of people. And that would make a huge difference in a lot of people's lives if I could even make a 1% difference in helping people pass these challenges and get funded. So that's really what I'm trying to do, and I hope it's helpful for people. John, you are 100% correct about brisket, except I'm talking about a particular part of the brisket, the burnt end. Hot take. If you haven't had burnt ends, then you cannot be in the barbecue discussion. Burnt ends are fantastic. John is right about that. I will give you 100% agreement. It's a little bit of heaven in your mouth for sure. So at least we're on the same page about brisket being real barbecue. So glad to know that you're not completely crazy. 18. Okay, cool. Man, 2004. My I have 4 kids, and all of them are older than you. Well, that's not true. No, it is true. Yeah. So my youngest daughter will turn 20 in August. So yeah, she's got you a little bit. I have 4 kids. My oldest will be 25 in a couple weeks. She just got married in November. And then my son is he just turned 23. He just celebrated his 1 year wedding anniversary. And then my second son is 21, not married, and then my daughter will be 20 in just in a few weeks. Well, in August. EU popping off strong here as we get into the open here. So interesting to see that we get in some displacement. We're entering up into that fair value gap. So we'll watch and wait and see how price responds here. But it is getting a very aggressive move. We've had this run on liquidity, getting an aggressive move up. If it pulls back off that fair value gap and runs these lows, and I don't get a setup, I'm perfectly fine with that. Dollar showing a lot of weakness now as we enter into the opening, the New York Open here. Could be just a Judas swing. Here you go. Gold running liquidity. If we can get some displacement above, we might have a potential setup on gold. I've only got another 25 minutes, guys, so I'm not sure if we're going to have enough candles to print for me to be able to give a call here live on the stream. But if we get off and I see a setup forming, I will definitely call it out on Twitter. So follow me over there on Twitter if you haven't yet. Make sure you have your notifications on, because if you do want to participate with me as I take these trades and you don't have notifications on, you'll miss a trade setup that I call out there live on Twitter. So, but we'll wait and see. Getting some rejection here off of that fair value gap and this breaker. So last down closed candles here, running liquidity. We've had displacement through. It's filled in that fair value gap completely. Actually reached up into this higher fair value gap. We do have some no wick candles underneath here, and so we know the market does not like to leave no wicks behind. So you could anticipate this potentially being a Judas swing, and it's got London, the daily low, in its sights for potential sell side liquidity here. We'll just keep an eye on it. Dollar pushed down, rebalanced, and is currently pulling back away. Gold as well. So just watching. Let's get back over to chat here. Your stream is so late. Sai, I'm not sure if you're referring to the time of day. Depending on where you are in the world, it could be very late. For me, it's very early. I get up at 5 in the morning so that I can have time to get up and wake up and kind of go through my morning routine before I sit down and start streaming. My local time is 6 a.m. when I start the stream. So if you mean late by latency, meaning I don't know the delay, the latency on the stream. Yeah, let me look and see. So on the stream right now, it shows the, well, it's kind of hard to see. I think it's about a 10-second delay. If it's more than that, I'm not sure why. But I can't see it on my, I have the chat up on my phone, so I'm not exactly sure what the latency is. But it's probably a 10-second delay. And there's not much I can do about that. That's as low as it's going to be on YouTube, the live stream. I think if you do Discord, I think Discord live stream has no delay. But if I remember right, I think that's pretty live, like actual live, or maybe just a 1 or 2 second delay. But I don't have, we don't have a Discord community running yet, and I'd much rather just stay on YouTube for now. So. Comedy aside, on a trading note, can you explain what you're looking for? So what I'm looking for is to see liquidity be run. So because I'm bias long, I am looking for liquidity to be run. And because I want to go long, I would wait for sell side liquidity to be run. So we have this aggressive move down here, which is what I was wanting to see. An aggressive move down to take out sell side liquidity. Once liquidity has been taken, I want to see a aggressive displacement away from that area. And as it displaces away, I want to identify, if I'm going long, I will identify the last up closed candle that initiated the run on liquidity. So if this is our run on liquidity, I'm looking for the last up closed candle, which is this 15-minute candle right here, that initiated this run on liquidity. So now that price has run liquidity, if we get displacement aggressively above and through that high and through this candle, and it leaves behind a fair value gap somewhere around that area, that's what I will be looking for. The chat is kind of looking at this, at least a few people in the chat are looking at this from a bearish standpoint. And what they're saying and what they're identifying is that this area holds buy-side liquidity. And we have run buy-side liquidity here. And now we've had a quick displacement back away after running buy-side liquidity. And you can see, so if this is the last push up. So here's a swing, and then here's your next swing. So this last down close candle here, right here, initiated this run, the final run on liquidity that we then displaced through. We broke back through this candle here, leaving behind a fair value gap right here inside of this down close candle. So some people in the chat are saying that, and they're not wrong, this is a breaker. So we did break through that, and it did leave behind a fair value gap, and they're targeting the sell side liquidity under the London session lows here. So they could enter either halfway through 50% of the breaker, which would be somewhere right about here, which is at the top end of this fair value gap. And if that was the case, if anyone took that trade, then you would put your stop I would probably put it above the high of this candle here. And then I would target 1 to 2. And I do a little bit beyond 1 to 2 if you're wondering why. That's to cover commissions and spreads. But if they're targeting that sell side liquidity. But because my bias is bullish for euro dollar, I would rather see a run on liquidity under these stops here and then see displacement away. And then I can participate on a buy side. I want to trade in line with my higher time frame bias. And this, to me, from my trading system, this is a counter trend trade. So euro dollar is bullish. This is a counter trend trade. And they do work out. I just don't like to take them. So that's why I would not be in this trade right now. But some people in the chat may already be in this trade as a breaker. I mean, it's actually if I was bearish, this is a beautiful setup. And this is your once in a life. So ICT said, hey, what's your one setup that you would trade for the rest of your life? This is a pretty nice example of it, but because it goes against my higher time frame bias, it doesn't really fit my rules. And so I have laws, the laws that I use to govern my trading system. This goes against my law here, so I'm not going to take this trade. But you've had a run on liquidity. You have a 15-minute candle here. This was the last 15-minute up close candle that initiated a run on liquidity. So that's your breaker. And then inside of that breaker, you have a fair value gap nested right there. So there you go. Last down close candle, run on liquidity, displacement away, breaks through that with power, with speed, leaving behind a fair value gap. Price retraces, triggers you in, and you would be targeting this sell side liquidity. The stop is pretty far below that, or the take profit is pretty far below that, but you do have quite a few imbalances here from yesterday's move up that price may want to reach back into. So that's That's the setup I use. It's just not in line with my higher time frame bias, and so I'm not going to try to get in on that. But that's what we're looking for, John. On any setup, I'm just wanting this to be, if you just reverse this for a long, that's what I would be looking for. And it may still happen today. We may still get this run on liquidity here, and then we get a displacement up and we get a higher run and make a new high for the day. Just wait and see. I'm not in a rush. David says, kindly give the goodbye shout out in Texan language. I love to hear you speak. I don't know that I've ever heard anyone say they love to hear me speak before. So, and people, when you have everyone has an accent, but you don't even realize you have an accent until other people go, oh, I like your accent. I guess I have a Texan accent. I don't think I have a very strong Southern accent. Howdy, y'all. Like, I know people that have a very strong Southern accent. I don't think I have one, but I definitely have an accent. And if you want to call it Texan, I'm fine with that. Look at the 5-minute candle from the stream. Yeah, I would want to see, I'm not going to take that 5-minute candle from the stream here is not ideal. It didn't leave behind a fair value gap. Well, I guess it did down here. It did. I wouldn't take that. With the sell side liquidity so close and it being this aggressive move, number one, I would be cautious to enter a trade yet, trying to go up. I would think that it may want to make a deeper dig here. But that's, and for me on the 15-minute time frame, I'm still going to need, let me get this stuff off of here because I would need to see displacement through this candle up here currently. Now, if price makes another run through the liquidity and then we get up, then these candles can act as our displacement candles. But we'll just watch and wait. Sai says shorted euro. Good luck, Sai. Hope that works out for you. Gold is getting nice displacement, is it? Not yet. Not on the 15-minute. We haven't had a close above. We're going to need a close above here and then the next candle to leave behind a fair value gap. So we've got a minute and a half left on gold currently, and it's rejecting pretty heavily off of that level there. But you may have said that a while ago, and I'm just now seeing it. So Toxie is in the euro sell. Good job, guys. It's good identification there. And again, it is a valid breaker, and it is a valid. It's just not valid for me because it is not. I was leaning towards being more bullish on euro today, so it could work out. I hope it does for you. We tapped that daily order block during London, so it should be high today. I mean, very, very likely. There's a lot of confluences here to think that this is going to pull back. You tapped into that daily order block here. You took out the liquidity above that order block right there. And now you're seeing some pullback off of that. So you're not wrong in any of your analysis. It's just not in line with my, again, I'm not discounting anybody's analysis here. I'm telling you how I trade. I wanted to see a bullish move. And so to do that, I need to see sell side liquidity get run and then a move up. And my analysis just could be off today, and that's completely fine. I know that I don't have perfect analysis, but that's why I have rules in place to protect me. And if my analysis is wrong, I just don't take a trade. So I've got about another 15 minutes. We'll wait for one more 15-minute candle to print here, and then I'm going to have to call it for the day and go help my friend get his move on here. Sharp. I'm in a pretty massive counter trend trade right now with EJ. Woke up to almost my stop loss being hit. Coming to entry here soon, hoping it continues down. It's the worst feeling in the world. Or it used to be, I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's not the worst feeling in the world. One of the worst feelings in the world is getting into a trade, having it be in profit, and then turn around and come up close to your stop loss, and then just flirt with you. Like, when I get into a trade, if I'm going to be wrong, I would much rather see price enter my trade and then just slam through my stop loss very quickly. I would rather be wrong fast and just rip the Band-Aid off, basically, than have it meander around and just kind of float around break even, go into drawdown, maybe a little profit, a little drawdown. I don't want to sit and deal with that. I want to be right quick, and I want to be wrong quick. And if I'm right quick, I mean, my setup usually allows me I'm in a trade typically for 20 minutes to a couple hours those are the lengths of my trade. Like yesterday's, it took a few hours to play out, mostly because of the time of the day we got into that trade. So we take out the low here? The low is currently 09796. And so we did not make a new low by 3 pipettes. So we haven't made a new low, but we do have relative equal lows down here now. So that's probably going to get tapped. And then I will wait to see here on the 15-minute time frame if we get this, if we run these lows and then get displacement back above. Here's your 15-minute breaker that we would be looking at to see displacement above. So that's step one for me. Step one is run this liquidity, which it hasn't done yet. It's gotten pretty close. So we would want to see this liquidity get run, which takes out all of the sell stops that people were long yesterday. They've trailed their stops up from Asia in the London session, and it moved up. They've got their stops under here. So this is going to get tagged. So after it gets tagged, do we then get displacement above this 15-minute candle? And if we do, is there a fair value gap inside? So step one, run liquidity. Step two, displace above. And then step three, identify a fair value gap we can use to capture a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio. So that's what I will be anticipating as we get off the stream. It will, if it happens, it will definitely be off stream today, as I have to leave, and it's going to take, probably 1, 2, 3, and it's going to take another hour for this to play out and set up for us if it does indeed do that. Gold is setting up nicely. How did it close? Oh, no. It's definitely not setting up nicely. I would be bullish gold. I would want to see gold run these relative equal highs up here in this liquidity. And to do that, we grab liquidity, but we didn't get displacement up. So I'm definitely not in on gold. Sure. Midwestern accent. I think I have a Midwestern accent too. I'm actually from Illinois. Like, I was born in Illinois, right in the middle of the bean fields and soybean fields, smack in the middle in Decatur, Illinois. So I grew up until I was 14, lived there. So my language definitely is more Midwestern than it is Southern. But I've lived in Texas since I was 14, and I just turned 48. So 34 years I've been down here now. So Texas is home. It's what I cling to. And I've picked up the Texan lingo. So can you go through that same process with gold? Sure. I may not be able to do that today, John, but I will tomorrow. I'm not going to have enough time here in the next 10 minutes to get to that, but I will do that tomorrow for you. Psy exited at 9 pips. Well, I mean, cool. don't. So my encouragement to you and for anyone taking trades is don't just take profit. You need to have a risk management structure that plays out every single time. So don't just be like, oh, well, I'm taking profit here, I'm taking profit there. Your edge in the market is determined by your risk management, which means you have to be winning. When you hit winners, they have to be more than your losers. And if every trade has an arbitrary area where you're taking profits at 5 pips, 9 pips, 10 pips, you're never going to be consistently profitable in the long term. You have to let your risk reward ratio play out to its entirety. So, what that looks like for me is once I'm in a trade, it's either going to hit my stop loss, full stop loss, it's going to either hit my full take profit, or it's going to give me an opportunity to get to break even around 1.5, and then it's going to come back up and take me out for no gain at all. So, what this allows me to do is double my wins every time. And I have an over 50% win ratio. So you do the math. This is the beauty and the power of letting your trades hit their full take profit, especially when you're just going for a short 1-to-2 risk reward ratio over and over and over and over and again. Okay. You're going to win more, which is going to boost your confidence. It's going to increase your ability to see, oh, I can win 1-to-2. I can hit 1-to-2. And if 50% of my trades are 1-to-2, if they win, I'm doubling my money every time I win compared to the losses that I take. And that's where profitability lives, is in that. So I'm glad you pulled out 9 pips, but my caution and my advice would be have a set risk reward ratio and stick to it. TP, good job, Toxie. Well done. Thanks for the stream. Yep, we'll see you tomorrow. Fear is the biggest reason traders cannot reach profitability. They're afraid. They're afraid they're gonna lose money. They're afraid they're gonna lose their profits. You've got to embrace fear, and you have got to embrace losing for this to work. All right, so I've kind of laid out what I'm looking for, so you guys can manage on your own charts and kind of monitor that with me as the day plays out. Dollar has, let's see, has it taken out the high here? 102.161. Yeah, so the dollar has taken out a high by a tick. Euro did not take out its low. I do think Euro is going to reach down here and grab that liquidity there. And I think the dollar will push up a little bit higher into these areas. But then I think the dollar is going to turn bearish. So we'll see if we get a setup. But I got to run. I'm going to go do the things that I got to do. I'll be watching the charts on my tablet and phone with me. And if a setup does form, I will be sure to tweet it out. So make sure you're following on Twitter. If you haven't yet, hit that like button for me, guys, as we end here today. Great job in the chat. Thank you for your activity in there. Thanks for watching and participating. That's what makes this so valuable for everyone. So I will run. If I get caught in this move and I can't get back tonight, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But plan on us being back here tomorrow at 7 a.m. New York time, and we'll see if we'll see what we see. So happy hunting, guys. Stay safe, and we will catch you tomorrow.